was a god, not one anyone worships today, but once this god was everything. People feared it, prayed to it, offered sacrifices in its name. This god had temples, grand towering structures built with human hands and human devotion. It had a priest, festivals, story passed from generation to generation. And to the people who worshipped it, this god was real, more real than anything else in the world. But then, something changed. The years passed, the cities crumbled, and the stories faded. The last priest whispered his final prayer, and then nothing. No more offerings, no more voices crying out in the darkness. And as belief faded, so did its God. What happens to a God when no one believes its existence anymore? Does it die? Or did it ever exist at all? What is a God? A being with imaginable powers, creators of the worlds, a cosmic force beyond our understanding. Humans always worship gods, always. It's one of the oldest things we do. From the earliest days, we knelt in front of forces that we don't understand, giving them names, giving them meaning, power. But there's a question. Do God exist on their own, or do they need us to exist? If God doesn't create us, do we create them? Faith is powerful. It moves mountains, creates civilizations, and destroys cities. If enough people believe in something, does this make this something true? Zeus, Odin, Quetzalcoatl, Ra, Anubis. Those are not just myths. People actually worshipped these gods long ago. They were gods, real, living gods. Millions believed in them. Billions prayed for them. And then they vanished, leaving just stories that we discovered long time after them. What changed? The gods or us? Gods can die, not in war, not in fire, but in silence they die. When the last believer says his last prayer, well, the God after that ceased to exist, and the world just moves on. It has happened before, and it will happen again. But to who? But if the vanished God never really vanished, what if its belief leaves an imprint on reality? Millions once worshipped these gods. Their names was carved into stones. Their story was written in blood and faith. If God was once real, where does it go if belief fades? Does it truly die? Or does it just wait outside of perception, waiting for someone to believe again? A question few dare to ask. Can a God exist without worshippers? We assume that gods need faith, that belief is the fuel that sustains them. But what if gods could exist without belief? What if there's gods that no one knows about? Gods that never has worshipped? Does a God need to be known to exist? Gods may die, but they can also be reborn. Some say that beliefs are like fire. It can be recreated from a little spark in the ashes. All gods are returning. Once forgotten deities are getting back to be worshipped. Is belief enough to make gods reappear again? Throughout history, humanity grappled upon the profound inquiry about existence and purpose. Center of these inquiries is the existence of a supreme being, usually is God. Philosophers presented both arguments, both and against this concept. One of the most discussed arguments in this field is the cosmological argument. This argument, everything in this world have a cause, and this cause must be outside of its being, which is the first cause argument, basically. The simple explanation for it is my cup of tea exists because the company that made it make tea. The company has a owner. The owner has parents. The parents has a creator. This creator actually usually referenced as God. Another really interesting perspective is the teleological argument, or simpler, the argument of design. This viewpoint suggests that existence has a purpose, that the order and the complexity of the universe indicates a purposeful design, implying the existence of intelligent designer, God. The ontological argument asserts that every concept of greater being or a God necessitates existence, as existing in reality is greater than merely existing in the mind. These philosophical arguments has been debated for centuries, offering profound insights into the discourse of God's existence. The exploration of these ideas continues to shape the theological and the philosophical mind and thought. The other side of how to condemn these arguments is actually by thinking about the opposite. Well, these arguments doesn't prove or disprove a God. They are merely remarking as an interesting idea which you may understand or pack your ideas about the existence or non-existence of God. One of the ways to defeat the theological idea is by going to the scientific world and calling it remarkably stupid. Well, because of what? Well, because of that we as beings that exist on this earth, we are just on a flaming dot, on a flaming rock, basically, going around a flaming rock again on a vast universe that this whole earth that we live on, which 70% of it is unlivable. These things doesn't merely get close to 0.000000000000001% of the observable universe. And after the observable universe, we have no idea what's happening beyond the observable universe. So, in the realm of science, researchers have explored whether belief in God is a product of cultural teaching or its intrinsic aspect of human nature. What does this scientific research reveals about humanity's predisposition towards the belief of a divine? Studies suggest that the humans. What if I told you we could create a God today? Not a God of the past, not a God of today, but a God from the digital age. If enough people believe in something, doesn't that make this real? Could the gods of the future be written in algorithms instead of in the sky and somewhere like we don't understand? Could the internet become our new holy ground? What if they are already building a new God? If God needs us to exist, then who holds the power? If faith creates the divine, then who is the creator? If every human on earth stops believing in God, does God exist anymore? Did he ever exist? Or was it in our brain all along? We look to the heavens for God. We wait for them for the answer. But just maybe, they're the one waiting for us for the answer. If God shapes human existence, if gods create human destinies, they only exist because we believe, who truly holds the power? Tell me, and if one day everybody stopped believing in God, does he still exist? Would he still exist? The goal of today's video wasn't to make you question if gods exist or not. It was to shed the light on the things that we don't really ask ourselves on a daily basis. The things that you think you know, but honestly, it was fed by you from the algorithm that creates this world. If today you got this video and you really think it changed something in you, then watch the before. Then watch the video before it. And the video next. Then watch the previous video. And the next video. Subscribe for me. Anyhow, thank you so much. Goodbye.